Hi, I'm Alicia, and welcome to my Operational Innovations channel, where I focus on process tips, techniques, and strategies to help you level up in the area of project management, product ownership, and small business operations. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we are talking about the small business health check, and I am so excited to say that we are on our 10th tip from my top 10 tips list. Number 10, an attitude of gratitude. So in addition to this video, I know it's so exciting. I just can't tell you how excited I am. In addition to my video on this topic, and as you've seen along the way, I bring in other folks who have a real practice or something that they want to share in these particular areas that we've been talking about in this top 10 tips series. And it's been an amazing ride. I am so excited about this, and I'm very excited to invite Lorraine Aguilar to our forum today. Lorraine and I know each other from the Agile coaching world. She's an expert in nonviolent communication. I'll post her links to her website and her contact information below. And I am excited to bring her wisdom to our forum today on this topic of an attitude of gratitude. Welcome, Lorraine.
Hey, Alicia.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to talk about this. I have to tell you, when I thought about this concept of an attitude of gratitude, your name just popped right to my mind. And it's in large part because of this practice that you're doing. And so I really want to hear more about it, and I want to share it with our community. But let's jump on in. So Lorraine, tell us, what's the business that you're in?
So, if I were just to give you the simplest version, it would just be empathy in the workplace. And empathy made easy through the practices and principles of nonviolent communication. It's how to be honest without being a jerk. It's how to listen beyond the words to what's really motivating that person. And it's listening with not just our ears, but our heart as well. It's so much more than the traditional active listening training that many of us have received. It's really dipping down into the transformative powers of empathy. And what I love about nonviolent communication, especially as an engineer, it's like, it's a formula, it's actually like very specific practices and steps, kind of like gratitude, that they sound very simple, but they may not be easy in the hard times to pull off. But if you're consistent with it, totally transformative.
Nice. I love that. And I love, the focus on empathy and how you just synthesize that down. Because when you hear the phrase nonviolent communication, a lot of times people don't really know what that is. And so I love how you've described that in just an easy, consumable way so that people can understand really what the benefit of that is. So how long have you been in this practice of working in empathy?
Oh, wow. That's a great question, because it really is something that evolved. I mean, I've had my own business for the last 20 years, maybe the last 14 or 15 as Working Harmony. And what I love about the nonviolent communication piece is that it really evolved on its own organically to come to the forefront. I think in 2011, I started integrating it into my work, facilitating deep organizational conflicts, leadership retreats, and not just like team building stuff, but like we have deep interdepartmental conflicts and we want to work our way out of this and through it. And so, back in the day, nonviolent communication used to be my secret ingredient. And, I've been facilitating, international level, massive strategic and, deep organizational conflicts, like things like accusations of racism or, bleeding retention loss, scathing employee surveys, so, so what to your question is what used to take me a full 3-day offsite to get some groups to work their stuff out can be done, like the last one was done in 6 hours. Wow. Thanks to nonviolent communication. And so as I started using it more and more, that, of all the tools in my toolkit, that was kind of the tastiest secret sauce that instead of being just the ingredient in the mix, it started becoming on its own the main course.
Main
And
course.
as more and more people start waking up to nonviolent communication, the
Yeah.
CEO of Microsoft himself has been talking about nonviolent communication. It was the first book he had his executive team read when he
Wow.
became CEO of Microsoft. So as more and more people in the business community are waking up to the powers of it,
Yeah.
it's now becoming more the main course. Not only am I serving it up more, but people are asking for it on the menu.
Yeah. Well, I love the food metaphor too. That's awesome. I must be hungry. That's hilarious.
So
And
much of my
so,
world is through food.
yeah, right. I love that. So I love that. The thing that's great about it is it makes this idea of the work of empathy just as important as any other mission critical uh, practice in an organization. I love that. So let's talk about gratitude. When I put this when I was thinking about the top 10 tips list, I'm thinking about it from the perspective that I've had being in business. This is my 5th year in business, and actually this month will be 5 years on the nose as of I think the 19th. Yeah, so that's my anniversary date. So when I thought about, how have I gotten through these last 5 years? How did I have a banner year last year? How am I thriving during this COVID-19 thing? When I thought about the top 10 things that have influenced my business, gratitude absolutely made it to the list. I am always so grateful in my daily operations, with my clients, with the people that work at my clients' operations, just in the work that I do. I just have such a deep gratitude. And so I'm so thrilled to bring this topic to this top 10 list and hear your perspective on it. In what ways does gratitude impact your business?
Oh my gosh. you know, I'm gonna expand that question. It impacts not just my business, but my life.
Oh, for
Bec-
sure. Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, if I reflect on how everything that I cherish, in my life and
Yeah.
my business, even what I do for a living and how I do it, I am grateful because it is on the shoulders, the support, the suggestions, the doors open for
Yeah.
me by other people. And so, if I really look around, yeah, I mean, I know in our culture, we really have that, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, independence, rah, rah. But if I really look out, it's the interdependence
Yeah.
that that really is what created, the things that I cherish most in my life, and including my business. And so, gratitude from that perspective is natural.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when you think about uh, a practice of gratitude, how do you incorporate that into your life and your work?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question, because my answer to that question keeps changing as I have fun and experiment with that.
Yeah.
and and so I credit Oprah Winfrey. Actually, I remember years ago her talking about her gratitude practice,
Ah,
and that was the first little spark of me experimenting with that. And so the first practice that really worked for me was, as soon as I wake up in the morning, like between the time that I open my eyes and put my feet off the bed onto the ground, it's like, what am I grateful for? So
yeah.
just that little micro practice already
Yeah.
got the ball rolling. And what I love about gratitude is that it's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
So with that little practice starting, that planted the seed for the larger practice that I have now with daily gratitudes on Instagram that, are spreading gratitude in ways that even I could not
Yeah.
foresee.
Yeah. So tell us about that daily practice. You sent me a link. I had a chance to listen to it. I love that you serenade with your ukulele. I love that. You are just, you and that ukulele. I love that. When I think about a ukulele, I think about you and Paul Winnie. So, so, so
Oh my gosh,
so
yeah,
how did
Paul and
that
I
get?
go way back on the nukes.
I love that. I love that. So where did you, when did you start this practice, this daily practice?
It was COVID.
Yeah.
And I really love that you're asking about this, because I really believe that this little experiment I learned so much myself about the power of gratitude. on how it has an exponential effect of giving back to us.
Yeah.
So this idea, this little spark, came when COVID hit. So I was feeling so much compassion and empathy with this awareness that not only myself, but so many people I knew were now suddenly forced out of offices and into their homes. So those of us, those people fortunate enough to still keep their job, were now struggling to work at home with no structure and kids and whatever,
Yeah.
or loneliness with no one there. And those many people with no job stuck at home. So I thought, what a great idea to provide not only a little structure to people's days, but a little light to
Yeah.
people's days, and this mindfulness practice. And I saw, thanks to my nieces who keep me current with music, I was really enjoying following Lizzo on Instagram,
Oh,
who
yeah.
does Lizzo does great Instagram lives.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked my nieces the next day, it's like, do you think I could do something like that? And they're like, yeah, it's really easy. So they gave me a crash course on Instagram Live, and boom, the next day, one gratitude, one small success was born. 10 a.m.
Wow.
Come online with me on Instagram and we'll all share gratitude. I'm going to serenade you while you do it. I use mostly my guitar, but you remember my ukulele from all the Agile conferences too, I'm sure. That's
Yeah.
still a part of
Yeah.
my life. And then at 5 p.m., come on again, just for a few minutes. What is our small success for today? Even if it's, I showered.
In this time, showering and teeth brushing, that is absolutely a success story.
Yeah. So what's so cool is the original intention was, this is my offering
Yeah.
to people struggling at home with no
Yeah.
structure, right? And
Yeah.
feeling lost. So gratitude will hopefully address the thing of loss. The 10 a.m., 5 a.m. practice consistently would give the structure. So it's like, here's my gift to you. What
Yeah.
I did not see coming was the freight train of goodness that came
Yeah.
back to me. I mean,
Yeah.
since then I've had old clients coming out of the woodworks. I didn't realize, I'm in a place of creative solitude here in Mexico while I write a book. I didn't realize how lonely it would be. And so
Yeah.
even I'm holding on to this practice as it's feeding me and my need for human connection. And as a
Yeah.
musician, you know, I'm not your play in the bedroom alone kind of guitar player. I need people to sing to, right? So I got a captive audience listening to my amateur guitar and singing. And so I had no idea how much it would give back to me.
Yeah. Well, that is so great. Like I said, I listened to today's. I mean, you've got an international audience. You've got people coming in from the Netherlands, people that are United States born that are from the Netherlands. You've got people joining you from NPR. I mean, that's pretty exciting to see these people joining you on a live like this. I think the gift that you bring to provide the structure and to hold the space for a practice of gratitude and just really taking stock in those small successes. So important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
you know, something that I'm especially grateful for is that I haven't done before is the consistency of showing up. You know, with my little
Yeah.
micro practice of getting out of bed, I've been consistent with that. But when we make a commitment to do a video or do something in our work, I
Right.
realized that it's the consistency that really was so key, because people, they knew they could count on it.
Yes.
And, you know, I've gotten so many private messages from people who are going through some genuine hard times, who
Yeah.
just said, you know, I mean, these are what, you know, 6 to 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you know,
It's great.
out of your day. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just so touched by some of the messages I've received by people who really, you know, needed that little bit of light.
That's great. That's great. And so, you touched on this idea that you've had clients and things coming out of the woodworks. What's a recent example of how a gratitude moment propelled your business?
Oh, ooh, I love that. Oh, you know what? I would say that it was gratitude that was modeled by a client
Yeah.
that really propelled my business. I think I really wasn't expressing that much gratitude until I started working with Special Olympics, you know, years ago. With they were one of my first big clients. And I remember when I first started working with them as a consultant, that I got this surprise little package in the mail from their CEO. It was this like badass jacket, a really like an expensive jacket, like a team jacket with Special Olympics, and a private, you know, a personal handwritten note from the CEO saying, "Welcome to the team."
Wow.
And it's like, dang, you know, I'm a consultant. It's really easy, as you know, Alicia, for a consultant to be seen as outsiders,
Yeah.
you know, and so to receive that genuine welcome and that simple note, it just touched my heart so much. And you know, even though we're no longer doing active work together, I mean, even when COVID broke out, we had a lovely exchange, and you know, and you know, still checked in. And so that's honestly, when I say propelled, to your question, what propelled my business, it was experiencing how powerful that was from a client. You know, a
Yeah.
CEO is so busy that just showed
Yeah.
me that I have no excuse not to take the time
Yeah.
to send a little thank you. And so I can't say that there was one instant that landed a big job or something, but since then that became part of the blood that runs through my veins.
Yeah.
And I just wanted that to be a natural practice,
Yeah.
and not a specific formula or opportunity, but just to make sure that as it organically, as the opportunities organically arise, or I can create them, you know, whether it's a verbal thank you, whether it's a note, whether it's, you know, connecting someone with a resource that they may not have expected, you know, it can take many creative forms.
It really can. And, you know, one of the things that I'm reminded of is how it helps shape your perspective. And when you have a perspective with an attitude of gratitude, it brings good things, you know, in your practice, in your work, in your life. I think it's so important. Any other tips that you want to share before we wrap up, Lorraine?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I already covered the consistency,
Yeah.
and that sometimes I think I'm speaking for myself. Sometimes it's easy for me to know that there's a good idea out there or something that I should do, you know, and as I'm already hearing a good friend keep saying, Lorraine, stop shooting on yourself. And thinking it's like, well, if I want to express gratitude to this really special or important person, that it needs to be just the right stationery, or I need to have the words just right. And I overthink and then it never happens. And
Right.
what I'm learning is that it it can be in a mere instant message. It you know, it doesn't have to be in the fancy gift wrap.
That's so true.
Just doing it.
Yeah.
And so consistency, and this is me telling myself that it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
just doing it.
Just doing it. That's the truth. Yeah. And I share some of those tips in the video that I do on this topic as well,
Oh,
about my daily practice, as well as the just doing it
and
with
if I
regard
could
to,
share one more, and
oh yeah.
sorry, the video.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my apologies. The video froze, and I didn't know you were still talking.
That's okay.
So I would like to share one tip from nonviolent communication on gratitude that has been, you know, of all the workshops that I do, you know, by far the crowd favorite,
Yeah.
and my favorite too, I'll be honest, is the whole section on appreciation using nonviolent communication.
Yeah.
And so basically what nonviolent communication offers us in expressing gratitude is so much gratitude can sometimes come off as an empty compliment or flattery.
Mm.
You know, good job, you're brilliant, you're great. And you know, without making this a crash course in nonviolent communication, one of the things that nonviolent communication does very well is teach us how to get out of judgment and into objective facts and real impact. So if I'm expressing to someone, you know, even if I'm expressing a positive judgment, Alicia, you are so brilliant. Oh my gosh, you are a rock star. That was a great job. You know, these are all, we love to hear those. The ego loves to hear that. And yet, think about it. Think about this from a power perspective, you know, and with what's going on right now with Black Lives Matter, all these uprisings that we got. You know, nonviolent communication, if it's anything, it's looking at the world through the lens of power and power differences. So even if I'm giving you these beautiful judgments, positive judgments, and we do that with leaders too. You know, how many heroes do we have in our company that can do no wrong, right? And as good as that feels, if your value is assessed based on my judgment of you, who has the power?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm giving you positive judgments, in a way, I'm kind of stealing the power, because now your worth is a product of my judgment. So with nonviolent communication, we strip the judgment away. We learn to become aware of that. That's why nonviolent communication is a mindfulness practice. Oh, it's like, oh, that's a judgment. How can I shift that to impact or fact? So I can say, hey, Alicia, I am so, you know, grateful on how you, you know, gave me that website for, you know, finding a better business insurance, because I saved this much more money for this. You know, it's like, so now, instead of your worth or your awesomeness based on my judgment, my opinion,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
your awesomeness is a
Yeah.
product of you made a tangible difference.
I see.
And so now, if I help you through my gratitude, become aware of how you made a tangible difference. Did you save me money? Did your coaching help me enter that meeting more confidently and speak more clearly? You know, or did your coaching help me have the courage to ask for what I want?
Yeah.
So if I express my gratitude using in nonviolent communication, it's observation, actual observable impacts, then who has the power? I'm reminding you of your power to make the difference. And that's the essence of coaching. That's why nonviolent communication is so great for coaching, because it's like, I'm expressing gratitude not as an empty compliment and as a judgment, but as reminding you of your impact to make a difference. And that is empowerment.
That's a great tip.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. No, that's a great tip. It's a very great tip. And thank you so much for being on my channel. I'm so grateful for this interview. I appreciate what you've shared with us and how it's impacted your business. Thank you so much, Lorraine.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Alicia.
Yeah.
And, you know, rock on with this program. I think, you know, I really, you know, honestly, I've been getting some valuable tips for my business and subscribe to your channel. So
great.
I am grateful for you sharing your knowledge with me. So, and I love how you showed off your craft room in one of the videos that inspired the artist in me. It's like, yeah, I can see my business more like an artist.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. So let's wrap up. So thanks, Lorraine. I appreciate it. I appreciate this topic. It means so much to me, and I hope that the folks that are listening can take something away from it. And that's it, folks. That is our 10th topic of the top 10 tips list, an attitude of gratitude. What resonated for you about this? Was it some of the tips that Lorraine gave about the daily practice? Did you get a chance to watch her video and see her daily practice? Was it about the tip at the end for recognizing the power of the person in using a nonviolent communication technique? What resonated for you? What resource tips do you have? Maybe you have some tips and things that you do for your daily gratitude practice. Share your inputs, share your insights and your tools in this area of gratitude and an attitude of gratitude down in the comments below. As small business operators, we're all in this together, and we all can make the community stronger by our sharing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying tuned. This is the end of the top 10 tips series, but I will tell you there is something coming up next. It's the Small Business Operators Pro Tips, and I've got a number of topics to talk about in that series, so I look forward to you joining us. I invite you to like and subscribe to this video, and we'll see you next time.